This is Scott Sloan, writer director on Malibu Horror Story, and you're listening to the Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 308, where tonight we are going to be talking about 2003's Dead and another Christmas horror entry into our Christmas horror month. This was Todd's pick, which I am here with, as always, and also Steve. Gentlemen, how was your week?
Hello. Started off a little rough. Had dentist this morning, so I had some work done. So I will be slurring more than I normally do. My wife always gets on me for slurring my speech, but I don't care. Todd tip, don't skip the dentist. Don't go every 4 years like I did. It's not fun. No one likes to get shots in your fucking mouth. And I got to go back on Thursday and Monday of next week. So fuck that. How are you guys?
I got the vid, unfortunately. I had like a rough 2 days, I'd say, of just being super exhausted and I had like no energy to do anything. But I'm fine now. It was just after those 2 days. So yeah, I got lucky, I guess, this time around to none of the like bad symptoms, But I got to watch a lot of movies because I was so tired I couldn't really get up. So I caught up on some shows, watched some movies, and pretty good. What about you, Joe?
Very nice. I can attest to Todd's take care of your teeth because, yeah, I've had quite a few root canals. They're not fun at all, and they get very expensive. And now I've had a couple teeth pulled, and I'm going to need some implants on those in the back teeth. So definitely take care of your teeth, ladies and gentlemen. It's not fun dealing with the dentist so much.
You know how
My
much
week was
root canal cost, Steve, for us? At least me.
fucking a lot.
How much it cost for you guys?
Yeah, I'll just tell you because
2,500.
God, no. Thank God.
I don't know. What's your
I mean-
system?
I mean, that's probably what it cost before
Without the
insurance,
insurance,
if not
yeah.
more, right?
Yeah, it's $600
That's ridiculous.
with insurance, so out the door, and then it's not fun.
No, not at all. Yeah, I know. I had a good week. Sam had her market this weekend at Old Town Hall in Salem. It was a lot of fun. She did really well. It was also a birthday weekend as well. So went out to dinner with some friends and stuff. But yeah, the market was cool. They had Krampus there. The guy who did Krampus was awesome. I was talking to his wife. He carved his own mask for it. So it was kind of like a unique style of Krampus. And it was a really awesome looking Krampus. But yeah, I know Sam's going to be throwing a lot of stuff into her Etsy shop for those of you who follow her and are interested, but she added a lot of new products and stuff like that. She was very excited about her Halloween themed stationery, post-it notes and notepads and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool with like bats and ghosts on it and stuff. So it's pretty fun designs and whatnot. So just follow her if you're interested at Halloween Happy, and she's going to be putting a bunch on her Etsy shop.
You had famous people like shop there too, from what I saw on your posting, right?
Apparently, yeah. Yeah, so for those of you who follow the band Ice Nine Kills, Sam was like, "Don't look behind you," but Spencer from Ice Nine Kills is here, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." And he was like walking around doing some shopping and stuff like that. So I know the band is from Massachusetts, so it's not a shock, I guess, to see them in the area. But like they've really blown up. I mean, they're opening for Metallica this summer and stuff like that, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger. So horror themed metal band for those of you who are into them. But yeah, he was in town, and they have their own horror con, which I went to this year, Silver Scream Con, which is in Danvers. I think it's going to be a yearly event. They've done it 2 years now. From what I heard, they might be moving it out of Danvers just because they've already outgrown the con. But yeah, really solid con. So check that out as well.
Actually, speaking of birthdays, we've had quite a few birthdays in our little Discord community. So not only did, of course, Sam have her birthday recently, but we had a bunch. We had Scott, we had Calum, we had Shaylin, we had our very own Mondo from the Let's XP Geeking Gaming podcast, and Bren. So happy birthday to everyone from all of us here at the Horror Squad. I guess some people got wild in, was it March?
A lot of people were banging in March,
Yeah.
Spring break.
All right.
Yes.
Maybe.
Well, shout out to all the December birthdays then. Very cool, very cool.
Mhm.
All right, gentlemen, you ready to get into some what watched?
Yes, sir.
Certainly.
All right, I'll go first then. So my first one is a 2023 film that you can find on Netflix, and it's called Blood. So there's a couple, they broke up, they're going through the divorce, and they're trying to get custody of their children. The woman, the mom, is played by Michelle Monaghan, and the dad is actually played by Skeet Ulrich from Scream fame, of course. So yeah, so it's this couple, and the mom, she's living in the farmhouse that they used to be together, and there's this whole battle about who owns it and all that stuff. And meanwhile, she's trying to do her best. She's a nurse, working shifts and might lose the kids because of it. So it's this whole thing. And all of a sudden, their family dog just goes running off into the woods. They don't know where he goes. It ends up that he goes to this creepy tree, and he comes back with some kind of crazy look on him. And he attacks one of the kids, who unfortunately is brought to the hospital. So the kid does survive, but he starts having like blood cravings, and he needs more and more blood to kind of stay normal. And the mom realizes this, but she doesn't want to tell the hospital system because they think that they're not going to help him in the right way. So what she does is she brings him home, saying that she's a nurse, she can take care of him, and she steals blood from the hospital. But she's afraid to get caught, so she tries to find blood other ways. And at first, she, of course, starts using her own blood, but there's only so much of that she can do. And that's where kind of the horror takes part. And I don't want to say much more than that because it gets actually pretty crazy at times. I thought this film was really good, extremely well acted from everybody involved, including the kids, who that's pretty rare because how kids are sometimes. They can ruin a movie, but this one they do a really, really good job. And yeah, it's just, you could feel the mother's pain. You can feel the mother really want to help her son, but while trying to deal with this really kind of fucked up situation, and she starts doing really crazy things. And it's one that people should check out, is basically what I'm saying here. I think it's one of the better films of 2023. Will it be my top 10? TBD, I guess. I guess you'll have to watch that episode or listen to that episode at the end of the year. But this is one you should at least put on your list to check out because I think a lot of people will like it. I will say it's a bit of a slow burn, but once it starts getting going, it actually goes and has I would say, a satisfying ending, in my opinion. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. That is Blood, over on Netflix.
Very nice. My first one tonight, 2023 release, recommended to me by Steve. And this one is called Dark Harvest. This one is a pretty interesting one. It is about very Halloween centric. I will say that to start off. But it's about this sort of small, like, rural town where every year this creature basically comes out and starts wreaking havoc on the town, and the young adolescent boys in the town are the ones tasked with killing this thing every single year. And the boy that catches this thing, what was his name, Steve? Slacktooth Jack or something like that, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he's kind of like a sort of a pumpkin head looking thing. He has like a pumpkin. He literally has like a jack-o'-lantern sort of head and a really sort of skinny Slender Man type body. But the boy who does kill him, like, the family gets like basically like gets all these riches, a brand new car, all this types of stuff. So yeah, that's like the basic premise. We follow it, like the movie starts off with the previous year, and then we head to the next year, and the brother of the boy who won last year is kind of fighting with his parents because he wants to enter the contest, but his parents don't want him to, because once one of your family members wins, no one else in your family has to do it. So it's sort of this kid thinking like he wants to be the big, strong, tough kid in town to do it. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, the movie's also set sort of in the 50s or 60s, sort of the greaser type era there. Yeah, I mean, overall, this one was like decent. I definitely had some issues with it, but I will say I was never really bored with it. I think it's a pretty like unique story, I think, for the most part. But to me, like, tonally, it was a little off to me. Like, especially like, it's set up sort of like a purge type scenario where like the parents lock the kids up for like 3 days and then sort of release them to attack this thing. And to me, it kind of came off more like comedic than serious. So I wish it it didn't delve into that. But I will say the gore is fucking top notch. That is definitely the best part of this movie. Some really legitimately great kills in this. There's one scene in particular. Yeah, I won't even spoil it. It's just but the gore is top notch. I would say it's a good one time watch, and definitely want to add, if you want to watch it, I'd wait till October, like for your October watches, because it's very, like I said, Halloween centric, but it's not something I would personally add to my every October year list, or every like October watch. But yeah, I mean, it's decent. I gave it 3 out of 5.
Alrighty. This past Friday was movie night in person with my buddies TJ and Brent. So we watched 3 movies too, which I'll talk about today. First one is 2021's Red Snow, which is a low budget vampire flick about about mid-20s, maybe early 30s, struggling vampire fiction writer. And then suddenly a real life vampire runs into her window as a bat, and she takes it inside the garage and nurses it back to health. But there's also a vampire hunter saying, like, these vampires are fucking evil. They like kill people. They're not sexy, blah, blah, blah. So now she's like, is the vampire cool? Is the vampire hunter the evil one? The vampire feeds her some bullshit. The vampire hunter also feeds her bullshit. So who do you believe? And then it ends in a way that you wouldn't expect this to go. You're thinking love story the whole way. Like, oh, she's a novelist. Here's a sexy vampire. They're going to fall in love. Do they? We'll see. Very low budget. So you got to like go in open-minded with that, kind of spotty acting here and there. But I really appreciate the ending. I like what they did, and I thought the shoot was like, it must have been very difficult because it was snowing the whole time, real snow. All the roads were covered, and like for them to pull this off with such a low budget was impressive. So Red Snow, 2021, and that was on DVD.
Was it Loomis that was saying that? You did the Loomis voice when you
Did
were,
I?
yeah, like your Loomis voice when you're doing
I shot him 6 times.
Yeah. All right. So my last one this week is another 2023 film that I watched over on Tubi, and it's called Monster Grizzly. So this got a big old picture of a big grizzly bear, and it's one of those stories where it's a small remote town and a grizzly starts attacking the citizen. So it's up to the local kind of police station to take care of this monster grizzly bear. As I started in my Letterboxd review, if you're watching this to see a couple love stories and a lot of snow shots, this is the movie for you. If you're watching it for the monster grizzly, like the title suggests, you'll be very disappointed. You basically don't see the grizzly bear in this film, or very little of it, and it's obviously like just a giant puppet that they tried to pass off as being this grizzly bear. Man, this movie is bad. There's just not a whole lot going on. It's funny because you have like kind of small police station. I think it's 2 guys and 2 girls, and one of the girls actually comes in to the story. She's a like young university student who's coming to help in with the investigation. And the other girl and one of the guys out of nowhere have a sex scene that just is completely like, why not? Girl comes out full bush, full everything, just down the stairs and screws this guy. But then there's this like super old sheriff guy. He's like, overweight. He's got a big beard. Looks like, he's got a grizzle under his neck as well. And not very attractive man is what I'm trying to say here. And all of a sudden, he also has a sex scene with a young university student, which is super off-putting because the scene right before, he talks about like having to card her because he doesn't think she's old enough to drink. And then he's sleeping with her like in the very next scene. And it was weird because I was watching this and I'm like, this came out of fucking nowhere. Why is this happening? And my first thought was, I bet you this is the guy who fucking wrote this movie and directed it. And sure enough, oh yes, this is the guy who wrote, direct, and edited this film. This was a very like Tarantino From Dusk Till Dawn moment, with Salma Hayek, where he purposely wrote himself as sucking her foot. I think this whole movie was basically for him to get a naked young woman on top of him. So I sat through this fucking like hour and God knows how long movie, supposedly about a grizzly bear that you barely see, just to see this old man get his rocks off and use the film as an excuse. So Monster Grizzly on Tubi, 1 out of 5 stars, because I did laugh at times. Not recommended.
I'm shocked, really. a title like that. But all right, my next one, 2023 release, not horror per se, but I think potential real life horror, and that is 2023's Leave the World Behind. This one just released over on Netflix. Star-studded cast. You have Julia Roberts, Ethan Hawke, Kevin Bacon, couple names, Mahershala Ali, who sorry if I butchered his name, and the girl from Bodies is in this too. Mila, I think is the way to pronounce her name. But yeah, this one is about essentially a family that goes on vacation, basically to an Airbnb, and from there shit starts going down. The internet cuts out, and they don't know what's going on, and then all of a sudden the owners of the house end up showing up claiming there was a blackout in the city and they needed to come back because they didn't know where to go. It starts off like sort of very mysterious, and then from there we come to find out, and this isn't really a spoiler because it's right in the sort of description of the movie, is that we're under attack. Basically is that there's some sort of cyber attack going on. And from there, it's sort of an apocalyptic type movie. I would say, like, out of all of the apocalypse movies I've watched, I would say this one seems like the most plausible scenario of something that could legitimately happen to us. The movie as a whole, though, it's good. Like, it's solid. My only issue with it is that it introduces like so many cool things and scenarios, but it just doesn't go far enough with them. Like, it's sort of like gets you almost to the it like edges you like almost to completion, and then it just like stops, like, for a bad analogy, but it just like sort of gives you blue balls. Like, you're like, you want it to really pop off, but it doesn't. But it's still like a really solid movie, and like I said, I think it's one definitely to check out. I would give it 3.5 out of 5. It's solid. I had a great time with it, but yeah, I wish it went just sort a little bit further.
So not on your horror list if it were to make
Definitely no. I
No.
don't think so. No, I wouldn't say it's horror
enough to
at all. Enough. Yeah.
okay,
No.
yeah.
All right, so my last one is 1980's Don't Answer the Phone. This one's about a Vietnam vet that is just fucking mad at the world, women in general. So he goes around downtown LA just looking for women to stalk and murder. It mirrors Maniac quite a bit in the fact that it's just a dude, he takes pictures just like he does, and he just goes and kills them for no reason. Meanwhile, though, there's a psychiatrist that has like a popular radio program, and he calls into it kind of taunting her, but not really. He calls in with like a fake name, and he puts like Hispanic accent on, even though he's a white man, and calls himself Ramon, and says like doctor, thank you so much for helping me. I feel really better now, and then I'm gonna make sure I follow what you're saying. And then he hangs up, and then he goes murder someone else. And at one point, he has his soon-to-be victim call into the radio show, and then he kills her on air. I think it's pretty good. It's a solid 3 out of 5. And I don't know if this is streaming anywhere. I watched it on Blu-ray, but I really don't understand what the title of the film means, because it's Don't Answer the Phone, but he never calls like victims and like asks if they're home alone and goes and assaults them or anything. He literally just calls the psychiatrist a couple times and then does his own thing by just driving around and picking out victims. So kind of a weird title for it, but overall pretty cool, because the killer is like this big fucking guy that is physically like just intense, and I would not want to face him. And the cops that are investigating him are actually smart, and they seem to care, and they actually go about the investigation in smart ways instead of just like bumbling idiots like a lot of them are in these slasher movies. So Don't Answer the Phone, 1980, and that's it.
What was the third movie you watched, just out of curiosity?
Oh, we watched a Christmas film that you probably appreciate called Silent Night, Deadly Night 4: The Initiation.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, is it?
Like, if I remember, it had nothing to do with that series at all.
Yeah, they have fucking, what's his name? Clint Howard. His name is Ricky. So I think
Oh,
that's
yeah,
connection
right.
to 2 and 3, but I'm like, no fucking way. It's a weird ass movie that I can't wait to talk about.
Is that the one with the robot?
What's
No, that must be
that,
Toymaker.
that could be
then.
3. Yeah.
yeah? I was like, is the Toymaker 5?
A
Or is
5.
that
Toymaker's
That's right.
5,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's 5. That's
Five.
right.
Three's the one
Okay.
with Bill Moseley and like the
That's
fishbowl
right.
head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, gentlemen. Trivia time.
Yes.
All right, Toddy, give me those scores, baby.
All right, trivia. Overall score: Joe in the lead by 2 with 80 for the year. Steve and I neck and neck, second place, 78. Oh my gosh, this is the closest race we've ever had.
Yeah.
To be honest. Quarter number 4 though,
Yes.
Joe in the lead. No, sorry, Steve in the lead, 19, Joe 17, myself 16. Who would like to lead off today?
I'll start us off.
Oof, okay.
Why not?
Bucket.
All right.
Why
We'll
not?
do it live. All right. What was
Do
the
it
name
live.
of the
Sorry.
fuck it? What was the name of the Christmas themed horror segment in Tales from the Crypt?
Fuck.
Better watch out.
Incorrect.
Oh, fuck.
Oh my god. That's gonna bother me.
Oh, I want my second.
And all through the night. I don't remember.
It's all through the
Incorrect.
house.
Correct.
I was so
Yeah.
close.
Very close, Steve.
Yeah.
Very
I
close.
thought he had it. I'm like, no.
Todd swiped it in. Todd
Swiped
swiped
it.
it in last
That
minute.
son of a bitch.
All right, I'll go. Okay. In The Deep Blue Sea, 1999.
Mhm.
What is Preacher's, LL Cool J? What is the secret to the best omelet?
Ooh.
Oh
He's
fuck.
making his little DVD confession on his little camcorder thing.
Mm.
What is the secret to the best omelet?
Pepper.
Pepper is incorrect.
Oh god, I don't remember. Needs to be folded. I don't
No.
remember at all.
All right. You guys are way off. The correct omelet has 2 eggs, not 3. So, yep.
All right.
Motherfucker.
Todd's
Book of
making
fun.
of trivia book. Yep.
All right. All my questions this week are guess the movie based off the IMDb parental guide. I don't know. I find these super easy to do for some reason. So I got lazy this week. First one, sex and nudity.
Hmm.
A woman sneaks up on a man urinating behind a tree, jerking him off for a full minute. His urine is seen the floor, following by semen
Oh.
dropping on the ground as he ejaculates.
Infinity pool.
Correct.
I'm like, I've seen this one.
Jamesy boy.
I fucking hate her, dude. James. Ugh.
All right, back to me.
Yeah.
Guess the movie based on IMDb information.
Oh.
This movie was released in 2006, clocking in at a nice 1 hour and 35 minutes. Currently ranked 4.7 out of 10 on the website. Director Glenn Morgan. Tagline for the film is, "This holiday season, the sleigh ride begins." And sleigh spelled S-L-A-Y. Very
Santa
nice.
Slay.
Incorrect.
No.
With a cast
I know we
Of.
Joker too. Shit.
Right.
One of my only ones.
of Michelle Trachtenberg, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and Lacey Chabert.
Oh.
Is it Black Christmas like remake?
Correct.
Incorrect. The
Yes,
answer is Black
Christmas from
Xmas.
2006.
Shit. Steve on board.
Steve got it.
All right. What sports team is featured on Jerry, the photographer, his hat in the opening of Arachnophobia?
Ooh.
Is it the Chicago Cubs?
Incorrect.
Is it the LA Dodgers?
Incorrect. Wrong sport. Football.
Okay. Can
Ooh.
I get one more guess?
Sure. American football. Don't talk to me about the Dodgers right now. I'm upset about that.
Shohei.
Ugh.
I'm gonna go the Bears.
He's not
The
worth
Bears.
$700 million, Todd.
Correct. I know. I still want him on my team though.
Baseball talk. It's a football team?
Yeah.
The Cowboys.
No, the correct answer is the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
All right, still with the IMDb parental guide.
Okay.
Sex and nudity.
Yep.
Women at a strip club dance erotically behind glass. They are mostly clothed but scantily clad. Two women mimic sex acts with each other. This is a very brief establishing shot. Violence and gore. A woman discovers a body in a chair that is shown decapitated. Very brief, but graphic.
I know what it is. I just can't think of the name.
Profanity.
It's fucking.
About 8 F words. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. Several scenes where characters drink alcohol, including a hosted dinner, glass of wine late at night, evening dinner at home, and a company-sponsored marketing reception, among others. In each of these, drinking is casual. At the marketing reception, a woman becomes slightly tipsy, drinking champagne, later becomes upset and causes a waiter to drop his tray. This is the giveaway here. So you guys ready?
Okay. Sure.
Frightening and intense scenes. The movie is about a woman being stalked by a serial killer. It can be very intense.
Well, my
Yes, it
initial
wasn't a
thought was
giveaway.
wrong. Yeah, initial thought was wrong.
And I
was
know
thinking
you've
about
both
that
seen it.
one. I was thinking about that movie with the stripper. She gets like stuck in the strip club. Remember?
no.
But I know it's not it. But that's what I was thinking of first.
Yeah, what was that? That was
Yeah, this
was that Glorious? No, that was the one that was like Glorious.
Yeah,
But it
that
was
was
like in a sex booth.
Yeah,
I don't remember
I
what
don't
it's
remember
called.
what was going on.
It's not that though.
Stalked by a serial killer. We got strippers that aren't naked.
We got a decapitated head and chair, which is very revealing.
Yeah.
was that one called Peep? That one we were just talking about?
Maybe I don't
Peep?
remember.
Oh.
Nah, I can't remember. Peep show.
You guys give up?
What like decade we got?
This is 2020s.
20. Oof.
Oh,
It's a new blood.
they're strippers. The strippers are what throwing me off here.
A Clockwork Orange.
Correct. 2020, 2022
course.
film Clockwork
2020s.
Orange.
I can't think of anything.
So the answer was 2022's Watcher.
Watcher.
Mega
That's
Monroe.
right. That was a good one. That was a
That
good
was
one. Yeah.
I liked it.
I only saw it the one time, so I
Me
don't
too.
fully remember everything.
I
I
made
still
sure you
wanna know
both
what the
saw
title
it
of the
first.
stripper one is. We covered it. And
Yeah, I know. That's the worst part. We covered it.
we did cover it.
All right.
I think it was Peep or something
No, it wasn't Peep.
because it was a Peep show, right?
I'll check.
All right, my last one of the night. Guess the movie based off the 3 Letterboxd reviews.
All right.
Number one, super brutal with some killer practical effects, but that's really all it has going for it. The CGI is awful, and the characters make some of the most idiotic and unrealistic choices. Number 2, and that was Todd's review. I will say that.
I was gonna say that was a
Number
joke.
2. Number 2. I watched this not knowing anything about it after a friend recommended it. The first half was boring. It was a bit boring, and I wasn't sure if the movie would be something I'd like. The second half, however, was insane in the best way. Great gore, awesome kills, and nonstop tension. I was glued to the screen in anticipation of what came next. There were a few issues, such as questionable actions from some of the characters, but I really enjoyed the film. It even had a satisfying explanation for everything that happened in the film.
That's mine.
And that is Steve.
Yeah, I remember. I remember writing that. I just don't remember what fucking movie I wrote it for.
And number 3. Good for her.
Good for her. The Joe method. Gosh.
I will say it's a movie we reviewed last year on the podcast.
Good for her. Man.
Give you decades.
Is it
2000. I will say the
Well, if
movie
you're-
came out in the 2000s.
Is it Pearl?
It is not Pearl.
Damn.
Oh, is it Revenge?
It is not Revenge.
Oh, Revenge is great, dude. I'll stand by that one.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys one more if you want it.
Is it X?
Think of the theme from tonight, maybe. That might help.
Oh, I already guessed
Oh,
X.
yeah.
If you think
so
of
that's wrong.
It wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be. Fuck, what other movie like that did we cover on this stupid podcast?
Oh. Perhaps.
I can't fucking think of
Mm.
something else we reviewed that was that good.
None.
Is it that
All
robot Santa
right.
one?
It was not the
yeah.
movie. Oh,
No, I was gonna say no.
no. All right. The movie is 2007's Inside.
Oh,
Yeah.
good for her.
The movie was called Revealer.
Revealer.
Revealer. Okay.
Trash.
Let me just
Not
All
one
right.
we liked.
No.
Hmm.
All right. Lastly, last question of the night. Actor / musician Meatloaf sang what song in the Rocky Horror Picture Show? I need the song title.
That is right. Yes, he did do one.
He did do
Yeah.
one.
Was there something like I don't remember it, but it's something like I don't even want to say it in case it
He comes flying in on the
stirs-
motorcycle.
and I don't want to
I
like
remember
stir
that.
Joe's memory.
Yeah. If
That's gonna bother me. But because
Well,
I remember we sang it on the
we sang
fucking
it. Is it
episode.
like,
I feel like
Ride the Lightning.
it is not. I can see where you're going with it though.
Mm-mm. I don't got anything. I can't
All right.
remember.
The
He
answer
plays the
is
sax.
yeah. Whatever happened to Saturday night? And you guys were
Mm.
probably thinking, Hoppertootie, rest bless my soul. That one. It's a good song.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All right.
All
Is
right.
that it?
Nope, I got
Nope.
my final one.
Let's do it.
So still the IMDb parental guide, sex and nudity.
Mhm.
2 scenes feature topless and rear female nudity,
Nice.
violence and gore. The alien rips out a man's intestines in the first 5 minutes, shown in explicit detail. A woman is killed next, though we only see blood running down her legs.
Mm-mm.
Profanity. Fuck is used once, shit and damn and other milder profanities used throughout. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. 2 characters drink throughout, and one of them even passes out drunk. Frightening and intense scenes. There are 2, I'm just going to name them both. The general appearance of the creature, and a man's son is killed by the alien. I will tell you it's a 1980s film.
1980s Alien, Disembowelment.
I think you've both seen it. I'm not 100% sure, though.
Is it
E.T.
Is it
That's correct. E.T.
is it Critters?
No.
No.
But the alien has some resemblance to Critters, I would say, to a crate.
Oh,
A little bit,
interesting.
Oh. All right, I'll try again once
if
Joe
that
goes.
helps at all.
Alf.
Yes.
He likes cats.
It's ETX Alf. You were close.
I don't know if these are aliens or not, but is it ghoulies?
No.
Are they
Mm.
aliens or are they like creatures?
Ghoulies, they're more creatures.
Yeah.
Really?
Critters are aliens for sure.
Yeah.
I got nothing at all.
So the answer was Night Beast.
Oh man, Night Beast is fun. I really like that movie.
Yeah,
It is
I
fun.
think I've seen that one.
I think we talked about it at some
Yeah,
point.
the
last
sex
year.
scene is
Yeah.
really funny.
Yeah.
Dang, should have got that one. All right, let's see. That
Not my
brings
best.
us to. Yeah, we both all of us suck today. Yeah, Joe's still in the lead with 81. Steve and I still tied 79. So
We all
someone's
got
gotta
one?
Win this fucking thing. Yep.
Pathetic.
Mediocre. Which
Well,
Mad Max.
well, I think it's next week or last week.
No, 2 more. We got
more weeks?
one more Christmas pick, and then a 2023 film, and then it's over.
Then the year ender, baby.
And then the
It's
year
done.
ender
All right.
after that.
It's
yeah.
done.
Can you
Actually,
believe
speaking
it?
of which, it's maybe time to start requesting some lists from people. So if you'd like to help us with your top 10 of 2023 lists, please send it to us before the end of the year. And that'll just help our final episode being that much
Or
more awesome. For
My
the
favorite
ultimate
word
list.
Joe says.
Yeah.
Aggregate score.
Aggregate.
Yes, we get bigger every single year, so let's hopefully break the last year's lists. I think we got like 30, close to 40 lists last year, something like that. So yeah, definitely send them in. email us, whatever, send us a DM, do it on Discord, whatever. But yeah, all call to arms. Please send in your best of 2023 lists. I think this year is going to be an interesting one for sure. I have no idea what's going to be the number one. I have a slight inkling, on a couple, but I don't want to sway anyone's thoughts and opinions, so I will save my thoughts on that.
It's the Taylor Swift concert spoiler. So
Yes, December 13th. Are you gentlemen ready? It is releasing on VOD.
Is it?
We are ready.
We're covering it.
Yes.
That's the 2023 we're covering. So
That is yes.
Mhm.
We are covering the concert. Yes, the Swifties are ready. I only know this because Sam told me it releases on her birthday. Taylor Swift's birthday, apparently December 13th.
There you go.
Also, her favorite number, which
Joe,
I
stop.
found out this week.
we already see enough of it
I-
when we watch the NFL.
I am a Swiftie, baby.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get into this week's main event. Todd's pick 2003's Dead End, directed by Steve can probably say this one better, but I'll try it. Jean-Baptiste Andre. How'd I do?
Close enough. Yeah. Jean-Baptiste Andre.
All right. Okay, perfect. Starring Lynn Shay, Ray Wise, and a bunch of other people you probably wouldn't recognize. But yeah, those are the two main ones there. So, Todd, this was your pick. Take it away.
Alrighty, so the Harringtons are doing a little road trip on Christmas Eve to the in-laws' house. Ray Wise, the father figure, Lynn Shay, the mother, and like Joe said, a couple other people that the supporting cast there. Everyone falls asleep though, except for Ray Wise, who's driving the car. And then he starts nodding off because he's on this like desolate mountain road. He was supposed to be on the interstate on the highway, but homeboy wanted to take a little shortcut because he was bored. So he nods off. A car almost head-on collision with him, and then he swerves, spins out or whatever. And all the family members wake up like, "What the fuck?" And he's like, "I must have nodded off. It's never happened again." Everyone's giving him shit, but hey, they're healthy, they're safe, they're all right. Let's continue with the drive. But soon things start being a little bit weird. They haven't run across another town. They haven't got another junction in the road. There's no cars next to them, anything like that. They come across a woman in the woods holding a baby. What's that about? And they're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. Why aren't they getting off this road? Was there a car accident that we didn't notice? Are there ghosts in the forest? Is my son a fucking creep and taking porn on the family car ride and then going out in the woods and jerking off? I don't know. We'll see. I picked this movie because I love it, man. I watched it years ago, have it on DVD, which is out of print, man. It goes for like fucking $50 online. It's ridiculous. But it is over on Tubi for you guys. And I love Ray Wise, Lynn Shay, we're big fans of them. And I've always thought that this is a really effective, slow burn, one location type of film that has pretty good acting for the most part. I kind of hate the kid, the boy, but he plays his part well. And I'm just really into it. So this is a first time watch in it's been about 5 years since I rewatched it, so I was eager to see if it held up, and I think overall it did. I do have some issues with it though. What about you guys?
Yeah, I've never seen this one before. I think I've seen it in like passing. Like the poster looked familiar sort of, but I definitely this one was never really on my radar. I didn't know much about it. I'd never really heard too many people mention it or talk about it. I will start off by saying, as far as a Christmas movie goes, this is like one of the more less Christmassy movies of the bunch for sure. It really doesn't give off much of a Christmas vibe. There's no snow on the ground, no Christmas lights to be seen really. It's just sort of mentioned, and there's some Christmas presents in the back. So if you're looking for like a super Christmassy horror movie, this probably isn't the one for you. But as far as the movie goes, yeah, I enjoyed it. I will say at times it does take you have to be patient with this one, right? Because you really don't know what's going on for long periods of time. And I do feel like it does drag a bit at times, but I never found myself overly bored. There were just times I was like, okay, like, can we kind of move along here and like figure out what's actually going to happen in this mystery? But I think once we get to the mystery, the payoff is pretty excellent in my opinion, and we'll get to that when we delve deeper into this puzzle. But yeah, overall, I think it's acted pretty solidly. My only real big issue besides sort of the pacing is the tone at times is really fucking bizarre, and I didn't like that. I wish it played more straight, and I think it would have added more creepiness rather than sort of the sort of off the wall bonker shit that they get into from time to time. It just didn't jive, I feel like, with the movie as well as it could have. So yeah, those are my two big ones. But overall, I'm glad I watched it. It was pretty solid.
So I had seen probably the first 20 minutes before, and then I think I fell asleep, and then I just never went back to it. So I still had it on DVD, which was nice. So I got to watch it for that. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was like an interesting mystery that they were slowly unraveling throughout the film. It's basically a one location film, even though it's not really one location, because they're in the car for like 85% of the movie, and then the side of the road, and then like this one cabin basically for the majority of the film. So I'd consider almost a one location film, and they did a good job of keeping it interesting and not rehashing too many of the same elements. The characters definitely had distinct like personalities that clashed a little bit, in my opinion, because I don't know, it's almost like they took turns being weird, as opposed to all getting weird at the same time, and that was kind of a odd decision in my opinion. It's just like someone would be totally almost comatose, like just not talking, not doing anything, and then they'd completely snap out of it, and then it would be someone else's turn to get super like crazy, like Lin Shaye does in this movie. And then there's things like the dad gets shot by shotgun in the leg, and he pretty much no sells it for the rest of the movie, like as if it's a minor inconvenience to him that he got shot in the leg. Like he limps around a little bit, but for someone who just got shot by a shotgun, he's doing pretty fucking okay. He just got a bandage over it essentially. So there are definitely some issues in this film, but it had enough unique moments to keep me interested and to make it like somewhat memorable, and I enjoyed that. I just think that there are a few things that I wish happened. I guess my mind was making up where the story was going, and when it didn't go there, I was kind of disappointed, and I didn't love the end, but we'll get to that at the end of the review.
First of all, Ray Wise is a man's man, Steve. That's why he wasn't.
Yeah.
That's why he shrugged off.
He was drinking a lot of booze to numb it up too.
Right.
So
It's true.
that helped, I'm sure. I will say, like, I didn't read. I went to this movie totally blind, and I honestly thought it was gonna be like a slasher. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be like Wrong Turn, which it's not at all. Like, it's a very obviously, like, well, you don't know, right? Like, it's very Twilight Zone. Like, it feels like a basically like Twilight Zone episode, just longer. Which I wasn't expecting, and it kind of threw me for a loop. But we do get the hearse man that we keep seeing throughout the movie. Yeah, I mean, that was cool. I liked that. The lady in white was just like really weird to me. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like they did throw like a lot of shit at the wall that didn't quite stick with me. But it does, I guess, once you get to the end. So it's like really a movie that has to stick the ending, and for me it did. I don't know, should we just like spoil the ending now, or I don't know where you guys
Yeah,
want to go with
spoil it.
this?
Yeah, spoil it.
Yeah, so what we like come to, so the whole movie essentially they're stuck on this road. It's never ending, and then they keep getting picked off one by one by this guy in the hearse, blah blah. They're trying to get to this town called the Walcott, is that what it is, I think?
Marco.
And Marcotte. Oh yeah. Okay. So Marcotte is they're trying to get to this place. They, it's never blah blah blah. Well, what we come to find out is we flash, forward. She wakes up in a hospital bed, and what we find out is the initial time where Ray Wise's the father character falls asleep. He really did drive off the road. He really fell asleep, and the whole family dies besides the young daughter, who survived. The doctor's name was Marcotte. And yeah, so basically the family was in sort of this purgatory / hellscape. I mean, what's your guys' take on that's my take on it? Is that basically they were in some sort of middle ground, figuring out, where they were going to go after death. I mean, is that how you guys took it?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't think their minds had caught up with reality yet. So yeah, to explain a little bit differently too, is like they'll be going through the road, and then Brad, the boyfriend, he gets abducted by this hearse, right? And he's in the back seat, and they cannot catch up to it. And then later on, the brother gets abducted by the hearse, and then they find their bodies like later on, which I thought was pretty clever too, because it was less is more approach where they're just describing what's going on, and we have the characters' reactions, and even Lynn Shay draws a picture of it when she's going through her psychotic episode of her son's wounds. So I thought that was pretty neat that they the way they find their bodies is how they died in the car crash. So like, yeah, the whole movie you're thinking that this man in black or whatever is abducting these people and murdering them off screen, but in reality, like he was the guy that came across the crash site, and the lady in white and her baby were victims of Ray Weiss or vice versa, whatever, in the car crash because they died too. So they're all of the characters are kind of in that limbo and getting taken by death or whatever you want to call it to the afterlife, so to speak.
I just interpreted that it was the girl's like dream while she was in a coma, like nothing more than that. Because and the reason I think that is that Marcotte is the doctor's name, so she just used everything that she saw between the time of the accident and the time that she went to the hospital and made up this whole like story in a dream essentially. Because like when I dream, I do the same thing. Like I'll watch TV before going to bed, and I'll have a weird fucking dream about someone I saw in a commercial, like just out of nowhere they're like joining me on some adventure because I made up this story with the last things that I saw that day. And I think that's basically what she was doing, is just her trauma and her dreams kind of merging together. And it wasn't necessarily any type of purgatory or anything. It was just her dealing with what happened in the accident.
That's probably what it is. But what is your take? What are your guys' take on the note? Because when Ray Wise, and we'll call it purgatory for now, the end credit scene, before that, Ray Wise is writing a list of what he wants to do, when he gets out of the situation, whatever. So that's like in the either the purgatory or dream world, whatever you want to call it. But then flash forward, and the road crew's cleaning up the accident, and they find the note. So is it A, bad filmmaking, and they just wanted to throw something in there to make you question it, or B, is it something different?
Did he write the note before without like maybe she had seen the note and just interpreted that as something that happened during the events?
I mean, if you take it at face value, he writes it when everyone's dead except him and her.
Right. But that's why I wonder again. It's her imagination, right? Just like Marcotte is not a real place. It's just the doctor's name. I think she's just taking bits of information that she knows about and putting it into this story.
Yeah, I don't know, because if you take everything at face value, like you're saying with the doctor's name, and then the black car being the car that picks him up and things like that, then that doesn't explain the note because we never saw it as an audience. You know what I mean? So we have to like assume, to make that work, we have to assume that like she saw it at some point. We just didn't. I personally think it was just bad filmmaking. Like they threw it in there just to be goofy or different.
Pretty clever, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I think it was totally because of that. I will say, like, I can see why I don't like Steve's theory. Like, I would like if I went with like his theory over mine, I would like the movie a lot less because I hate like dream sequence movies because like it's always like, okay, well that was for nothing. So yeah, I can see why Steve probably liked this less than us going with that
It,
theory.
yeah, you know what? It's kind of like
And there's no wrong theory. It could be
no.
either one, honestly.
Yeah, but it kind of reminds me of, what was it called with Bilbo Baggins' Ghost Story? Was that what it's called?
Yeah.
Where it's like if it's in his head, then it automatically makes it not a horror movie anymore, because it's just him
Yeah.
fucking dreaming. So if
I,
this is just her dreaming, it's like, okay, this is like,
yeah, I saw this whole event. Like, I don't know if you guys saw Usual Suspects, but spoiler alert: the killer makes up all the information off the fucking board that's behind the cop that's interviewing him. Like, that's where he gets all the information
excellent
from.
movie, excellent movie.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie, and that's what I feel this character did in this movie. She just made up this whole story with things that that she had around her, the doctor, the car that she brought run to, the 4 body bags that she probably just glimpsed as she was being taken away, like all these little details from things that she had seen, and she's just putting into her mind.
No, I mean, it certainly makes sense. I just chalked up like all the weird shit as being in like this sort of, like I said, like purgatory thing. I mean, the dream sequence makes total sense too, though. Now,
Makes sense, but
so
I
yeah,
agree it
that's.
cheapens the film. It's like,
I
yeah,
agree. Yeah, to me, it cheapens it. I'm interested to see what the filmmakers like. What their sort of
they only made one movie,
what they
so
were going for. This was it, huh? It was a one and done for them.
pretty sure it was, yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Lame
Yeah, it's
ass.
actually two filmmakers, so I'm sorry. My apologies to Mr.
Fabrice
Fabrice
Canepa.
Canepa too. He also directed this, so sorry, it wasn't a one-man show. But what did you guys think about the tone shifts though here? Like especially like Lin Shaye's like psychotic, break where she did I did not like it at all. Like to me it cheapened the movie. Like once again, it came off comedic where like I feel like the movie was really going for a really serious tone, and then like I don't know if they were like trying to play it off as a creepy like psychotic break, but to me it came off like pure fucking slapstick comedy almost, like, and it didn't resonate with me.
No, I agree. And I don't think Lin Shay is great when she's trying to do that kind of character. And I always take it back to Wish Upon that we covered many years ago, many moons ago, where she kind of has the same thing she does, and it's just fucking awful. Like, it's just not her wheelhouse. She's great as like a strong female character, but when she starts being like goofy, I don't like it. And I agree, I hated that scene. Plus, she's like pounding that fucking pumpkin and chocolate pie, and it's just fucking gross.
Smells like
Yeah.
ass.
Damn it, I had that in my note right here.
Beat you
It
to
smells
it.
like ass. This fucking
Yeah.
kid.
I agree though. I didn't love that either. There are some parts of it that I thought was amusing, like when she draws the picture. This is what he looks like dead. It's just like a stick figure of a dead
I thought it
person.
was disturbing, man. I thought that was effective.
Yeah, that was it's the pie thing. I just thought it was overdone and stupid, and it was weird because up until that point the daughter was kind of in a like phase, and then she like just snaps out of it and it's just fine after that. It's just, and that was my issue, is it just had really weird beats at times. I kind of wish that it went a little bit more straight horror. And the kid, he was super goofy.
Let's talk about Richard.
At the beginning. Yeah, we gotta talk about, there's so much to talk about Richard. So something I thought about, this is totally random, but so he goes to jack off in the woods when they go on a break. Can you imagine society if jacking off was like as needed as peeing and shitting, where people would just be like, oh, I'm sorry, honey, I gotta go to the bathroom, I gotta jack off. Like that's what it felt like. Like, who the fuck just goes and like does that? And he had the fucking porn mag already with the pin. Like, oh, it was gum. It was gum he used. He was like, he had a system and everything. He was just going for it.
Yeah, Richard is, first of all, macaroni and dick cheese. I wrote that down. I forget where he says that, but he says it somewhere. But Richard's a little piece of shit, man. Like, I think he's supposed to be 16 years old, but he looks like he's 24. So like him being a little jackass doesn't really work. He does all the gay jokes to the boyfriend. Yeah, and then the jerking off in the forest. Gosh, damn, I've never been that desperate when I was a kid. Like, you're leaving the road for 5 minutes and you get beat off. But then it's weird is that he jerks off, doesn't clean his hands, obviously. And then the first thing he does is touches his mom's shoulder when like there's a scary scene. I'm like, oh, that's fucking gross. But Richard is a fucking serial killer in the making, man. He's got the deviant sexual shit, and then he admits to his sister that him and his friend put her hamster in a microwave and killed it. I'm like, this motherfucker deserved to die early because he would have been a serial killer growing up.
Yes. Yeah, he's like just over the top ridiculous. He did give me a couple of chuckles though, I will say, in the car prior. But yeah, overall, glad he was disposed of early. Once again, just like weird comedic moments that I feel like just didn't jive completely with sort of the rest of the tone of the movie they were going for. One thing I just thought of though that I think lends to Todd's and I's purgatory theory is the secrets of the family coming out that the daughter probably didn't know about. One being obviously the affairs by both parents that was, discussed throughout with Ray Wise, Lin Shaye discussing that she knew he was banging some woman on the side. And then also Lin Shaye admitting to banging another dude. I think there's another secret that comes out from the daughter as well at one point, but I
She's
feel like
pregnant.
all
She's
the
pregnant, but she would know
yeah,
That's
that
that.
her
she's
own.
right. Well, she would know that.
Yeah.
Right, because it was her sort of thing. So that is one thing I guess that would lend, I think, more to the purgatory theory for me is because like she didn't know about these things and she did act surprised. Her and the father kind of talk about it where she asks like, who is this guy? And the father kind of talks about it in the car. So yeah.
Are they just suspicions though? That she's kind of acting out because like even the brother chimes in, I smoke weed. Like everyone kind of looks at him like,
Yeah,
Right.
we know.
yeah,
We know.
yeah. I have a feeling it's just suspicions that are kind of acting out in her dream, and nothing more than that.
It's very specific though, because like the dad gives her the whole spiel of like, yeah, let's call him Phil. Phil's my buddy, and he came to me one day saying, "Man, what do I do? This girl I love is married," and he's like, "You only live once, pal." And then he's like, "I wonder why I never saw Phil again after that." Turns out Phil fucked Lynn Shay, and they had Richard as a result. And Richard is actually supposed to be named Michael, so that's another one. Like, how would she know what the fucking unborn baby's name's gonna be if it isn't actually happening the way it's shown Purgatory was?
Right. And if you go with the purgatory thought, it's, when I know most religions, believe that when you do die, you are to be judged for, your sins. So these people their sins are being brought forth and they have to sort of, confess these sins. So that's like, and like with these very specific things, secrets coming out, that's just to me what thinks leans it more that way rather than the dream sequence.
Yeah, the one that was weird was Lin Shay being like, "You could do anything you want sexually, everything." Like,
Like it awakens something in you. That's why it's weird.
is that like he wanted to be pegged? Like, what do you think that means to him? I was very
Facials.
curious. Yeah,
I do have two really cool zingers that Ray Wise said, and I'll read them off. They find a phone and it doesn't work, and she goes, "Is there enough? Is there a dial tone?" I said, "No, Laura, I just forgot the number to 911." And then they're changing the flat tire, and he tells his son, "You handle that lug wrench like a whore handles a baby." And I'm like, "Gosh damn, Ray Wise just fucking slinging insults." I thought it was pretty funny.
yeah. There's some good lines in this, despite some of that stuff too. And that kind of what helps the length of the movie, despite being in the car for the majority of the film. Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's some things that I wish we had seen more of, like the cabin. Didn't play into the movie as much as I expected that it would. Things like that. Like I wanted to know more about the. So when the mystery car keeps coming in, right? I don't know if you guys seen Burnt Offerings,
Yeah.
but in that movie, there's a super creepy driver that the main girl has like dreams about. And I was hoping that eventually we'd see like kind of someone like him, like almost the I don't know, I guess he'd be Death essentially, right? Just grabbing people. But I guess I was disappointed with the reveal of what that car ended up being. Which
Yeah, it was just some creepy dude hitting on the doctor at the end of the day.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought he'd do something like when he grabbed the doctor, I thought he'd be like, I don't know, like
Like
she'd
he's
still
Death.
like she was still in it, like she was still in the purgatory or something, and it was just like a kind of a reveal, but nope, he just takes her out.
Yeah. I was just looking on IMDb, not much trivia here, but the movie made $77 million in DVD sales. Like that's
Wow.
fucking
Crazy.
Shit.
yeah, that's great. It says the movie was a smash hit on home media. Like, wow, that's fucking crazy. Like,
77.
especially in
Oof.
2003, like
Uh-huh.
you take into inflation into account, like that's wild money for
Yeah.
a sort of indie little horror movie like
That's
this.
why
So
the directors
for
fucking
that.
just retired. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, they
No
did
shit.
do two more things, but I've never heard of them, so
Anything horror related or
no, it looks like an action film
no?
and something else. I don't know.
Alright.
But yeah, man, I can see the issues with it, and I don't like how it's wrapped up so nicely at the end. I mean, the ending's cool. I think it's pretty dope, but it is a little bit goofy where he's like the man in black, like I'm the man in black. I have this black car, and I'm gonna hit on this fucking doctor, and we're gonna travel in my creepy black car. You don't get in a car with that guy. All right, that's the guy you don't get in a car with. So I did not like that part, but I think it's still pretty cool, and I think it's purgatory personally. I love Ray Wise. Lin Shaye is a delight, except for that little part. I fucking hate Richard. Justice for Brad. You know, he wanted to propose to her. She's gonna dump his ass, and then he got killed first. Yeah, I'm. You guys ready to rate it?
Just one last question.
Yeah.
So you made us watch the end credit scenes, and I get it. To the
Made you watch them.
Yeah, well, you
better watch them.
you specifically told us to watch both end credit scenes.
Yeah.
I
so the
totally
first
didn't.
one, yeah, I figured. Like I get for the letter, right? For the first one is when he finds the
Yeah.
note, but what was the significance of the second one? It was just a picture of the family.
So I remember the first time I watched this around 2003-ish. It was on, and then I fell asleep during the end credits, and I woke up to that brief picture of the family, and it just creeped me the fuck out, like because I didn't know it was going to be there. So at the end of the film, like, yeah, if you wait to the very last moment, it's a picture of all of them, like in front of a Christmas tree or something.
Yeah.
And they're just smiling, and I'm like, I don't know, it was off-putting to me.
So who was in that picture? It went so quickly. Is it the 4 that died?
No, it's all of them. It's just
the family.
not Brad. Yeah.
Okay. Because it'd be funny if like they made it to the Christmas party. You know, like the whole thing was like the dead people kind of made it and are happy or something.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just I didn't get the point. You know, usually credit scenes are supposed to set something up or explain something or.
Yeah, I think those guys, the filmmakers, are just being experimental and putting something in there that they thought was like, this is cool. This will get them questioning it, but maybe didn't work. But yeah, I just remember being very off.
In 2003, that didn't happen a lot. Like now it happens all the time because Marvel's like fucking put it into everyone's head that everything needs a end credit scene. But in 2003, I don't recall a whole lot of films having anything after the credits. So
I don't know.
Other than like sometimes they had like spoof reels, like fucking gag reels at the end of movies. You know, that was like a big thing back then. But
yeah.
All
right, I'll rate it. This is my choice. I am a extremely strong 4 out of 5. I like this one a lot, and it's a classic for that period. I do hate the music though. I forgot to mention that. A lot of the score, I'm like, it's that early 2000s rock that I hate. But yeah, it's a 4 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, the movie's definitely a bit dated, like already for a movie that just came out in 2003. But overall, I had a good time watching it. Is it something I'm gonna add to my yearly Christmas horror watch list? Definitely not. Just because like I said, there's not really a Christmas vibe here in this movie, like at all. But I'm glad I watched it, and I think the ending certainly makes this movie. If it wasn't for the ending and me and Todd's theory of it, I think this would be rather forgettable. But yeah, I'm at a 3.5 out of 5. I really did enjoy watching it.
Yeah, so I have the other ending in mind, and I can't get it out of my head, especially because of the doctor's name. I think that's what really kind of drives that ending home for me. So I gave it 3 out of 5. I did like it. I enjoyed watching it. I don't think it's one that necessarily like stands out in, you know, the annals of time. So maybe I'd watch it one more time though, because now I'm curious, knowing the two theories, like what can we see before the accident that they do that would like, you know, kind of explain some of this stuff. But other than that, I don't think it's like one of the best, but I enjoyed watching it for sure.
Alrighty. Very cool. Very cool, gentlemen. All right. I think that is going to wrap it up for this week's episode. Once again, though, a call to arms, ladies and gentlemen. Please send us your best of 2023 horror lists. Just send us a DM, an email, whatever it takes. But we want it to be the biggest and best year ever for our master 2023 horror list. It's going to be great for our year-end episode. Next week, Christmas horror continues with Steve's pick of Steve. What do we got?
Anna and the Apocalypse, which I don't think any of us have seen. It's just the one that keeps getting recommended to me. I promised one of our listeners, Caleb, that I would do it. And I said, I'm going to do it. Just I'm going to wait till Christmas time. So here we are. And I'm going to keep that promise. And I'm very curious. I hear so much about it that I'm like, I want to watch it.
Where's that at? Shudder?
Oh yeah, it's on a bunch of. I saw it Shudder. I saw it on Tubi. I saw it somewhere else.
Sweet.
It's all over. But Shudder apparently has the director's cut, which is apparently better. So if you can, watch on Shudder.
All right, very cool. Yeah, that's one I've heard I'm really excited for that one because I've heard like so many great things about it, and I've actually had it like every year I put it on my when we do like voting, like I always put it on there for Christmas and it never wins. So I'm excited to finally watch it and check it out. So you can check it out, ladies and gentlemen. Like Steve said, it's streaming pretty much everywhere. 2017 musical horror movie, Anna and the Apocalypse. I know Todd's very excited for that
I'm
with the
thrilled.
musical
Ugh,
horror.
Yeah.
All right. So that is going to wrap it up for this episode. In the meantime, you can keep up with the podcast on our socials: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. Just search the Horror Squad Podcast. You can also email us anytime, thehorrorsquadpodcast@gmail.com. But of course, the absolute best way to keep up with the podcast is our Discord. Just send us a DM. I also think it's linked now on our Instagram. Just click on the link, join the Discord. Amazing community over there. Movie club, Steve, postponed, right? It's coming soon.
Yeah, probably just at the end of the month. Unfortunately, I got COVID, so I was really sick on Friday.
Okay.
So we're just going to do the last Friday of the month. We're going to watch Carousel 3.
All right. Very cool. Carousel 3 for the movie club. Tons of stuff over there. So once again, join the Discord. You can also, if you want to support the pod, you can buy merch, tpublic.com. Just search Horror Squad Podcast. That's also linked on our Instagram as well. And the best way is leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. That helps us immensely to get the word out, help spread it. We appreciate it. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll see you next week for Anna and the Apocalypse. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.